Imagine flying nearly 500 miles into total darkness, into territory that could still contain enemy forces. Your mission? Not to destroy a Soviet attack helicopter, not to photograph it, but to pick it up and bring it home. This is the story of Operation Mount Hope 3, the daring mission where America's elite Night Stalkers captured one of the Soviet Union's most feared helicopters. Before we dive into this video, however, I'm going to need you guys to hit that like button and subscribe, because only 9% of you are currently subscribed, and I'm pretty sure you guys meant to have that be a higher number. So obviously it's just an error, and you guys need to, smash the subscribe button. During the Cold War, the Soviet Mi-24 Hind was legendary. Part helicopter gunship, part troop transport, it earned a fearsome reputation in conflicts around the world. Western militaries desperately wanted to study one up close, but getting their hands on a relatively intact one wasn't easy. There was an opportunity that appeared in the deserts of Chad. During fighting between Libya and Chad, Libyan forces abandoned an Mi-25 Hind at the remote Quadi Dome airfield. For U.S. intelligence planners, it was a golden opportunity. The mission was handed to the Army's elite aviators, the 160th Special Operations Regiment, better known as the Night Stalkers. These were the pilots trusted with the most difficult helicopter missions on Earth. The plan sounded almost impossible. Two specially modified MH-47 Chinooks would fly deep into the desert at night. They would locate the abandoned Hind, rig it for transport, sling load the massive helicopter beneath the Chinook, and fly it hundreds of miles back to friendly territory, all without being detected. On the night of June 11th, 1988, the Night Stalkers launched. The MH-47s flew roughly 490 miles through the darkness to reach Quadi Dome. Navigation was a challenge. The desert was unforgiving, and the threat of enemy action remained a concern. Once on the ground, crews quickly prepared the Mi-25, the Mi-25 being the designation for the export Mi-24. The helicopter was nearly flyable, but damage made flying it out too risky. Instead, the Americans used the method they had planned all along. One Chinook lifted the Soviet-built gunship beneath it on a sling load. Suddenly, one of the most recognizable helicopters of the Cold War was hanging under an American helicopter. And the hardest part wasn't even over. During the return flight, crews encountered severe desert conditions, including a sandstorm that threatened the mission, yet the Night Stalkers kept moving. After reaching Ndijanama, the helicopters were loaded aboard a massive C-5 Galaxy. Less than 3 days after arriving in Chad, the Americans had secured the helicopter and were headed home. The Hind wasn't just a trophy, it was an intelligence jackpot. Engineers, pilots, and analysts could examine its systems, study its strengths and weaknesses, and develop better tactics for fighting Soviet-made helicopters in future conflicts. The aircraft was eventually restored and used for evaluation and training. Operation Mount Hope 3 became one of the most famous missions in Night Stalkers history. And in War Thunder, obviously, we have a lot of aircraft, helicopters, and tanks that are in nations that never even operated them. This would be a very interesting event vehicle for War Thunder, an Mi-24 in the American tech tree, but it also opens the gates for something that I don't know if people genuinely want in War Thunder. There are a lot of cases of other nations studying nations, better aircraft. You could see the Soviets with the F-86 at some point, and you could see the Americans with something like a MiG-29, or in this case, an Mi-24. Now, I think in some cases it could be genuinely usable in the game, as not every nation has, the same sort of role for everything, and if you have a gap in technology, something like this could absolutely be added to the game. Now, the United States doesn't really have a gap in helicopters, but I did think it'd be pretty cool to talk about if they were to receive an Mi-24. They would basically just be an exact copy-paste. You could have an American livery on it, or American camouflage, and, that'd be pretty fun. I think it would mean that people would push Gaijin to add things like an American MiG-29, a Russian F-86. I'm not necessarily fully against those things, but I also want there to be a reason to grind each tech tree. You don't grind a Russian tech tree because you want to play an American F-86, and you don't grind an American helicopter line because you want to play a Russian Mi-24. I think if these vehicles were to ever see the light of day of War Thunder, they would need to always be event vehicles, maybe squadron, and maybe premiums. We see a lot of it with World War II vehicles, like captured German stuff being in the Russian tech tree, or captured Russian and American stuff being in the German tech tree. They're either removed premiums, or they're just premiums that haven't, that are only available during certain points, or they're super low BR premiums. So it's not like this is a massive thing in War Thunder, but it is something they've done in the past. I think the Mi-24 as an event vehicle in the United States would be kind of cool, to be completely honest, because we already have, you know, several other helicopters in the US tech tree as Squadron or as Premium, and another event helicopter would be great to see for the game. There's obviously a lot of options. A captured Russian Mi-24 would be super neat. Obviously, it happened. The United States took the helicopter. They did a bunch of tests and evaluations with it, so it was a flying one, and it'd be a fun option for the game. I want to know what your guys' thoughts are down below in the comments. Do you guys want to see captured vehicles ever come to the game? And if you do, in which way do you want to see them? Premiums, events, squadron, tech tree? I would be very against tech tree editions, but I wouldn't be against them as event or squadron vehicles, even premiums. Anyways, let me know your thoughts down below. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in the next one.